Ancient institutions of learning in the Indian subcontinent. The Indian subcontinent has a long history of education and learning from the era of Indus Valley Civilization. Important ancient institutions of learning in Indian subcontinent are as follows. Takshashila. The University of Ancient Taxila was a renowned ancient institute of higher learning located in the city of Taxila. According to scattered references that were only fixed a millennium later, it may have dated back to at least the 5th century BC. Some scholars date Takshila's existence back to the 6th century BC. The school consisted of several monasteries without large dormitories or lecture halls where the religious instruction was most likely still provided on an individualistic basis. Takshashila is described in some detail in later Jataka tales, written in Sri Lanka around the 5th century AD. It became a noted center of learning at least several centuries BC and continued to attract students until the destruction of the city in the 5th century AD. Important teachers that are said to be teaching at University of Taxila include Panini. The great 5th century BC Indian grammarian Panini is said to have been born in Shalachala near Attock. This region was then part of Gandhara satrapy of the Achaemenid Empire, but the ethnicity in his name or the way of his life shows that he was of Indian origin. He is likely to have been teaching at Taxila University. Chanakya, the influential prime minister of the founder of the Mauryan Empire, Chandragupta Maurya, is also said to have been teaching at Taxila. Kumaralata, according to the 3rd century Chinese, Buddhist monk and traveler Unch Wang Kumaralata. The founder of Sautrantika School was also an excellent teacher at Taxila University and attracted pupils from as far as China. Vasubandhu, the founder of Tibetan Buddhism, is said to be teaching there. His famous pupil includes Dharmakirti and Dignaga. Important students. Important pupil from ancient University of Taxila includes King Pasenadi of Kosala, a close friend of the Buddha; Bandhila, the commander of Paistani's army; Angulimala, a close follower of the Buddha. A Buddhist story about Angulimala, also called Ahimsaka, and later a close follower of Buddha, relates how his parents sent him to Taxila to study under a well-known teacher. There he excels in his studies and becomes the teacher's favorite student, enjoying special privileges in his teacher's house. However, the other students grow jealous of Ahimsaka's speedy progress and seek to turn his master against him. To that end, they make it seem as though Ahimsaka has seduced the master's wife. Javaka, court doctor at Rajagriha and personal doctor of the Buddha. Charuka, the Indian father of medicine and one of the leading authorities in Ayurveda, is also said to have studied at Taxila and practiced there. Chandragupta Maurya. Buddhist literature states that Chandragupta Maurya, the future founder of the Mauryan Empire, though born near Patna Bihar in Magadha, was taken by Chanakya for his training and education to Taxila, and had him educated there in all the sciences and arts of the period, including military sciences. There he studied for 8 years. The Greek and Hindu texts also state that Kautilya Chanakya was a native of the northwest Indian subcontinent, and Chandragupta was his resident student for 8 years. These accounts match Plutarch's assertion that Alexander the Great met with the young Chandragupta while campaigning in the Punjab. Nalanda. Nalanda Sanskrit, Nalan Inda ISO. Nalanda, pronounced Na, Lnda, was an ancient Mahavihara, a revered Buddhist monastery which also served as a renowned center of learning in the ancient kingdom of Magadha, a modern-day Bihar in India. The University of Nalanda obtained significant fame, prestige, and relevance during ancient times and rose to legendary status due to its contribution to the emergence of India as a great power around the 4th century. The site is located about 95 kilometers 59 miles southeast of Patna and was one of the greatest centers of learning in the world from the 5th century CE to c. 1200 CE. Today, it is an UNESCO World Heritage Site. Valabhi University. The Valabhi University was an important center of Buddhist learning and championed the cause of Hinayana Buddhism between 600 CE and 1200 CE. Valabhi was the capital of the Matraka Empire during the period 480–775 CE. It was an important port for international trade located in Saurashtra. Present day, it is called Valapipur, located in Bhavnagar district of Gujarat in western India, identical with the old state of Vala. For some time, the university was considered to be a rival to Nalanda in Bihar in the field of education. In September 2017, the Indian central government started to consider a proposal to revive the ancient universities, all things, even the university. Sharada Peeth. It is a ruined Hindu temple and ancient center of learning located in present day as in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan. Between the 6th and 12th centuries CE, it was among the most prominent temple universities in the Indian subcontinent. Known in particular for its library, stories recount scholars traveling long distances to access its texts. It played a key role in the development and popularization of the Sharada script in North India. Library at Sharada Peeth. Sharada Peeth was also valued by scholars across the Indian subcontinent for its library, and stories detail long journeys they would take to consult it. In the 11th century, the Vaishnava saint Swami Ramanuja traveled from Srirangam to Sharada Peeth to refer to the Brahma Sutras before commencing work on writing his commentary on the Brahma Sutras, the Sri Bhashya. The 13th century c. 1277–78 text Prabhavakarita contains a story of the Svetambara scholar Hemachandra. As Sharada Peeth was the only place with a library known to have all such works available in their complete form, Hemachandra requested King Jayasimha Siddharaja to send a team to retrieve copies of the existing 8 Sanskrit grammatical texts preserved there. These supported his own text of Sanskrit grammar, the Siddha Hemasabdanusasana. Important students. The important pupil who studied here include Humarajava 344–413 C. was born to a Kashmiri father, Humarayana, and a Chinese mother from Kucha. He was sent to Kashmir at a young age to gain a grounding in Buddhism, where he studied under a Kashmiri scholar of the Sarvastivada school. Thami Sambhota 7th century C. was sent on a mission to Kashmir to procure an alphabet for the Tibetan language. There, he learned various scripts and grammar treatises from learned pandits, and then devised a script for Tibetan based largely on the Sharada alphabet. Rinchen Zangpo, a principal Litsawa or translator of Sanskrit Buddhist texts into Tibetan, is also said to be studied here. The Kashmiri historian Kalhana Pandit. Hindu philosopher Adi Shankara. Pushpagiri Vihara. Pushpagiri Odia. Pushpagiri was an ancient Buddhist Mahavihara or monastic complex located atop Langudi Hill or hills in Jajpur district of Odisha, India. Pushpagiri was mentioned in the writings of the Chinese traveler Xuanzang c. 602 c. 664 and some other ancient sources. Until the 1990s, it was hypothesized to be one or all of the Lalachuri Ratnagiri Udayagiri group of monastic sites, also located in Jajpur district. These sites contain ruins of many buildings, stupas of various sizes, sculptures many now removed to museums, and other artifacts. However, archaeological excavations conducted at Langudi Hills during 1996–2006 resulted in the discovery of another site, with inscriptions describing the local monastery as Puspasabhargiriya and identified by the excavators as Pushpagiri. This has now become the general view among scholars. The site has now been made accessible for tourism. The visit of Xuanzang indicates that Pushpagiri was an important Buddhist site in ancient India. Along with Nalanda, Vikramashila, Odantapuri, Takshashila, and Valabhi, it is believed to be a major ancient center of learning. It flourished between 3rd and 11th centuries CE. Odantapuri University. Odantapuri, also called Odantapura or Udandapura, was a prominent Buddhist Mahavihara in what is now Bihar, India. It is believed to have been established by Gopala I in the 8th century. It is considered the second oldest of India's Mahaviharas after Nalanda University and was situated in Magadha. Vikramshila, Vikramshila Sanskrit, Vikamshala Devanagari Vikamshala I asked. Vikramasila was one of the two most important centers of learning in India during the Pala Empire, along with Nalanda. Its location is now the site of Antichak village, Bhagalpur district in Bihar. Vikramshila was established by the Pala Emperor Dharmapala 783 to 820 AD in response to a supposed decline in the quality of scholarship at Nalanda. Atiseth, the renowned Pandita, is sometimes listed as a notable abbot. It was destroyed by the forces of Mohammed bin Bakhtiar Khalji around 1193. Somapura Mahavihara. Somapura Mahavihara Bengali, Somapur Mahabihar, Romanized, Shampur Mohabihar in Paharpur, Badalgachi Upazila, Nayagaon district, Bangladesh is among the best-known Biharas, monasteries, in the Indian subcontinent and is one of the most important archaeological sites in the country. It is also one of the earliest sites of Bengal, where significant numbers of Hindu statues were found. It was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985. It is one of the most famous examples of architecture in pre-Islamic Bangladesh. It dates from a period to the nearby Halad Vihara and to the Sitakat Vihara in Nawabganj Upazila of Dinajpur district. Bikrampur Vihara. Bikrampur Vihara is an ancient Buddhist vihara at Raghurampur village, Bikrampur, Munshiganj district in Bangladesh. Jagaddala Mahavihara. Jagaddala Mahavihara FL, late 11th century, mid-12th century, was a Buddhist monastery and seat of learning in Varandra, a geographical unit in present North Bengal in Bangladesh. It was founded by the later kings of the Pala dynasty, probably Ramapala c. 1077–1120, most likely at a site near the present village of Jagdal in Damwarhat Upazila in the northwest Bangladesh on the border with India, near Paharapur. Some texts also spell the name Jagaddala.